that countdown took a little bit longer than what I thought. Usually I can get it to cut off today. All right. So we shall get this show rolling. Derek, man, do you want to get started? Because we're going to be talking about the Flash movie today. And we got Darkwing, we got Fat Man, and we got the Hero Nerd. And hopefully joining with us, we'll have Nikki D sometime soon, hopefully, but we'll see. But Darkwing, start us off with the Flash, please, because I know you're the geek about it.
All I could think of was like, there's just so many. They can do everything. They can do every person who ever played any character, like they did in the TV show in those Crisis stuff.
Yeah,
and they could breach MCU with that.
Oh, that's a possibility. No, what? Yeah, breach the MC. Now, because I'm just going to throw it out there, the only thing I disliked, and it's just because he didn't really have a part or anything in there, was instead of I know they fired him, but instead of having like a cameo of Henry Cavill with the other Supermans, you go and put Nicolas Cage in there. And just because Nicolas Cage never actually did it, that was the only part I was irritated about.
That was their way to open it up anywhere. That's why I brought in Batman as like 3 different people throughout the show.
Yeah,
they're basically saying we don't give a shit who we put in this role. We got a world of fucking.
Yeah, I got it. I was a little butthurt, man. I wanted to see something about Henry Cavill because he's freaking a sweet.
So, whoever watched
I'm still bitter about Henry Cavill, so I just keep my mouth shut.
You got to watch Black Adam because he was in the credits.
Yeah,
they probably did that scene before he got fired.
I don't think so. I think they're going to be bringing him back around. I think it's all
hopefully.
Well, I'd lose my shit, man. I'd lose my shit.
I'd be happy. I'd be very happy, man. Bring Henry Cavill back. But who was that one guy? I can't remember his name. Who the new younger Superman's going to be? I can't remember his name. I just saw him.
I completely forgot about that.
But so like this Flash movie actually had more comedy than most of the other DC movies had. It was actually pretty good. You had your sadness, your comedy, and your fighting.
So it says here he's going to be replaced by David Cowan Sweat. Cowan Sweat? I don't know. He looks like Superman, so I guess.
Let's see how much weight they make him put on for the role.
Yeah, he's super skinny. He's gonna have to bulk up.
Henry Cavill wasn't always a big guy. He just had the frame for one.
What was the one he was in, man? The
Mission
Immortals.
Impossible?
No, when he was in the Immortals, he was ripped, but he wasn't like stocky like he is now. He was more kind of toned down, like a Gerald Butler kind of ripped. Speaking of that guy, man, I would love to see him in any superhero movie. He's one of my favorite actors.
Wasn't Jared Butler supposed to be Kraven, like the Hunter villain for Spider-Man?
That'd be sick, dude.
That would
that would be dope.
But have you already seen the trailer for Kraven?
But I don't remember who the hell played what.
Wait, there's an actual trailer out?
Yeah.
Yep. Actual trailer for Kraven.
Yeah, YouTube, man.
Watch that then. Who plays him?
I'll go ahead and look that up real quick. So, Hero Nerd, according to your notes, because he hasn't really seen the movie, he just like literally went through a whole bunch.
Yeah, I just watched the 36-minute video. I just took notes on what the movie said or the video said.
And I guess a lot of people are knocking the movie, saying it wasn't very good or anything.
It's not that it wasn't very good. It's just that like I guess people were expecting more of it, and it didn't do as well as they thought it would. Like some of the CGI looked kind of corny. I guess like CW type CGI, and some of the lines were trying to be funny when it wasn't really funny at all. It was weird. But other than that, I feel like that movie is pretty dope.
I know that motherfucker laughed and cried. And I'm also one of those people where I would take it for what it is. I'm not going in there with any preconceived idea. Some other universe that this. I try to keep it all, give it a clean, and I loved it. I loved where they went with it, and I love the fact that it opened up so many things, as well as did some nice little cameos for the old school. I mean, here Michael Keaton say "I'm back" gave me wood,
bro. I literally freaking geeked out as soon as I saw the old Michael Keaton. I was like, oh! And then when he put on the suit, he's like, "Yeah, I'll fight with you." Oh.
I saw something yesterday about people originally protesting him as Batman. They were like, the Mr. Mom guy's going to be Batman?
What?
And he shocked everybody.
I mean,
little motherfuckers.
Yeah, for real, man. Don't be dissing Michael Keaton Batman. Like, that's the OG right there.
Right? And then Clooney, and he was the most comical Batman there was. There was nothing like that was a weird vision of Batman, in my opinion. At least, Tim Burton kept it dark and got to the point they were when they were putting him in there, it was goofy,
Yeah,
like a neo version of the 70s TV series.
welcome to the party, Nikki D.
Late as usual.
Yeah, it's my life. Story of my life.
How do you even have children? You days later be like, "Oh, baby, I'm sorry, I missed."
I'm so glad your connection's bad and that cut out. I'm going to listen to you.
Oh, that was great. We literally just started talking about the Flash, man. We were just talking about the Michael Keaton as Batman, because Hero Nerd over here was saying how people were complaining, or no, Darkwing, you said that people protested.
No, like back in the 80s or whatever, when
when he first started.
Before they released Batman with Michael Keaton, the general idea that they portrayed was, like, that's Mr. Mom, that's not Batman.
I'd say people did protest the Flash movie coming out, though, because they had Ezra Miller in there and all the controversy going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
Got all that fucking crap. Dude, why? It sucks that so many freaking, really good actors and actresses have to be such fucking psychopaths.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, because he's a really good actor, so it's a shame. And I loved him in that role. But he's
he really only plays one role, though. I mean, I've got a few of his movies. He's pretty much the same guy in every movie.
The dark character.
I don't know. He was different in Fantastic Beasts. He was a little different.
Well, no, him and Fantastic Beasts reminds me the same thing of we need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah, but that's different than Barry Allen. I in my opinion, anyway, I thought it was a different character for him.
Yeah, Barry Allen's more like funny, happy-going, joking, and not that serious type guy. He was only serious when he was trying to get his dad out of prison and like going back in time to save his mom. But other than that, he was like just, I don't know, he wasn't serious.
Well, anyway, I don't know if we'll talk about that. If I was going to say, compared to the younger version of himself, he was very serious.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was saying Ezra, like, I wasn't sure about him in the Flash, but on the Justice League, I think the one line that he said that got me, I was like, man, I like this guy, is when he's telling Batman, he's like, I don't really punch people, I just kind of push and run away. He's all scared and stuff. They're about to get in a fight.
Yeah.
That reminds me too
I like this guy.
about the Flash movie where they brought in the theme where they really, I don't know why, but they really emphasized the point about how he needs to up his calories and eat a lot, or else he's like, it's something about his energy or something like that.
Metabolism.
Yes,
He's him up because he needs to eat. He needs to eat a lot. But it made me feel like he was like diabetic or something.
No.
Because he was like, he was about to fight. Like, remember, he's about to save those babies. He's like,
Yeah.
oh man, gotta carb up real quick.
Yeah, but
Let's
that's,
get these dozen kids.
you can't have a. You know what I mean? You can't have somebody that has weaknesses or story behind
I mean, I guess you're right. Yeah.
challenge, and his just happens to be that.
Hmm.
I feel like other than that, like I really didn't have any like if I'm not gonna watch the movie because I just watched a video about it and I got the whole main story out of the way. But
You
Fuck
gotta
you.
watch.
Saying that.
The
You know,
movie,
a punch in the throat now.
I've gotta say,
I have said nothing controversial. Come on, man.
I gotta say, give it a chance. Like really give it a chance because I didn't expect it to be the way that it was, and it was very good. It was
Well,
very good.
Being where I am, I've missed out on a lot of movies. Like I'm still thinking about watching Oppenheimer, the new Insidious Red Door, and like
that's
there's
great.
new movies coming. The Nun 2 and the new Exorcist movie.
Hmm.
You were
Like,
gonna watch Oppenheimer? Are you? Dude, what the hell? You already know that this cunt made a fucking bomb that could blow up fucking people and just do horrible things, but you won't watch a fiction.
Oh my
yeah, that's
God.
about right.
I swear to God, if anybody listening doesn't watch a show because we said you're a pussy,
Listen, I'm just saying I might watch it, but it's just not on my top priority list of movies to watch at the moment. I might watch
It
it.
should be on one of your top
No,
priorities.
but when Deadpool 3 comes out with Wolverine, that's gonna take over everything. That's gonna be on the tippy top.
you realize what the podcast is, right? I mean, we're
Yes, I do. Yes.
fucking Gen Zs. What the heck? I don't even know what to do with this. I'm so lost. Okay.
How about it's been 3 months since I've had, I went to the movies or I've ordered something from the Red Box. So I'm kind of just stuck under a rock.
Dude, you had 9
I get
amazing
that.
weeks. Don't try to make it sound bad. That's 9 amazing weeks.
Oh no, yeah,
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
Amazing while he's sweating his ass off, smelling other dudes' butt 3 feet away from him.
Only taking
Sounds
30-second showers.
Sounds like 9 amazing weeks to me.
It's not something like there's a celebration and it's nothing but pussy and fucking. Well, I guess if you like the ass, it's all over for you. It's whether they were or not.
Fat man,
What
did
the
your
heck,
mom ever
dude?
tell you this? When
What's
I
that?
got back from Iraq, your mom and my mom brought my truck back from Michigan. And your mom told my mom, I want to get him a hooker.
Yeah, because he knows. That does not sound like a party. That sounds like, yeah, I got a lot of training. I did good for my country, but not something where you're going to be like, oh, dude, you don't believe what I did last night.
Well, I don't know how I'll feel when I get deployed.
I was just referring to my recruiter's description of basic training.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got us off track. So,
Way off track.
Because me and Hero Nerd were talking about this actually before we first started. What are your guys' thoughts at the very end when you seen the George Clooney Batman?
I didn't see that coming.
Who do you want? Yeah.
you want to know my
Well, that's why I asked.
where you can never get back to the reality that you had.
You're
Cut out, fat man.
They set it up. So once they change, you'll never go back to that reality.
Right. Yep.
I thought the ending was it got a pop out of me. Like I was watching it and I just thought, oh my gosh. And I'm listening to the voice and I'm thinking, yeah, he's back. He's back in the right spot. And then as soon as I see him come walking up, I was like, oh my gosh, no way. I just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool, you know, and then his line too, he was like, oh, who the is this now? And it was funny because Tori was like, she didn't really know who that was. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, only the older people would know who that is.
Yeah.
And he was in my least, he was Batman in my least favorite film, but it was still cool. Yeah, it was still cool to see him. Like I thought that was cool. Yeah, I liked it. And it just kind of left it open too, because even though everything else seemed right, he's still not back in the right.
Exactly. He's not in the correct.
Exactly. So it was cool. It kind of left it, you know, open in a way.
Yeah, that's the way I was looking at it. It was like it just creates
Man,
something.
my
else.
audio just went out.
Oh, we can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the crack down, bro. Put the crack
But
down.
you guys realize that the timeline that they'll go back,
Ronaldo scored 3 goals.
but all the other shit was in that there has black.
I guess, yeah, sure. I don't do that.
You said what? I couldn't hear you, fat man.
The timeline that the Flash came from before he switched out his mom,
Mhm.
made it to where she could survive, and then later, Dad, you know, the one that he ended up in, where his dad was able to be free, but he had the Clooney Batman. Our timeline, the one that had his mom die, no longer has a Flash.
Oh shoot, that's right, because that younger version of him that got trapped in the Speed Force because he kept trying to go back, and no matter how many times he did it, he couldn't fix it. That's a good point. I never thought about that.
That's two of them that don't have a Flash, because that one doesn't have a Flash either.
Yeah.
Lost the mom, stayed in jail.
So then that version of Batman, well, and that version of Batman is also, well, no, he was in a different spot. Anyway, the Michael Keaton one, the one he kept trying to fix over and over and over again when he got trapped in the Speed Force, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was neat. I got to say that. I thought that was cool. A lot of movies will do something like that, and then you'll go back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then they'll go back and the hero will fix it or something like that. And every time they went back, everybody, you know, it was Batman kept dying and Kara kept dying, no matter how many times. And I just thought, you know, that kind of sucks, but it's cool at the same time. Because the good guy can't always win. You can't, you know, you're not always going to get what you want. So I thought that was neat. You know, even though it sucked, it's just how it is.
I got a question on that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all remember in the 90s when they killed Superman?
In the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did they bring him back to life? I can't remember.
Oh, he was trapped. He was trapped in his life force. Supposedly his life force split up. So then you had, well, no, because you had the Eradicator, you had that version of Superboy, you had Steel, and then the cyborg Superman. But then you found out that not all of them were like with his life force. I think the Eradicator, and he was kind of trapped in this in between. Somehow they pulled him out. I can't remember how, because when he came out, he had the dark suit on, and he had long hair. So he was like in this in between realm. I don't even know how to describe it. He was in between. So he was like dead, but he wasn't gone, if that makes sense.
I thought he was like encased into something and then shot into the sun.
I don't know. I don't remember that. I don't remember.
That sounds like a Christopher Reeve movie. I don't know if it is, but
Yeah, in the comics, he was
I think that was Superman 4.
oh yeah. No, in the comic, you're referring to the comic storyline, right?
yeah, I'm talking about what Doomsday, when Doomsday killed him, they had that
Yeah.
pure black cover on Superman.
Yeah.
They did. I don't remember him going to the sun, but again, it's been years since I read it.
I think that was an animated one, the animated movie where like Superman dies and then he gets shot into like the sun and they create a gold statue of him after he kills Doomsday or whatever, that he dies too. And like the next movie, it was like Reign of Superman, where like Steel, Eradicator, and Superboy comes out.
It kind of follows the comics, except it wasn't a statue in the comics. It was like a golden, not a statue of him, but like I don't know, some sort of thing saying Superman died here saving the world. And Doomsday wasn't dead. He was just knocked unconscious.
Oh.
I remember right. Doomsday wasn't dead. So they fired him off onto another planet. I think Doomsday was the one they shot to another planet just because he wasn't dead. So they got him off Earth just to get this freak out of here so he can go wreck Mars or something like that. So they just blasted him out into outer space. But there was like a golden memorial type thing because that's what Eradicator melted when he first showed up on the scene.
Or something?
It was like a plaque. It was like some gold thing, and he melted that crap. And at first you're like, oh, wow, that's really Superman. And you're like, oh, it's a cyborg. And yeah. But as far as how he came back, I'd have to go back and read that because I can't remember exactly. I just remember him being in like this in-between. I can't remember.
Okay. Well, Hero Nerd, ask what you were going to ask because I know you said you didn't have a whole lot of time.
I gotta say, one thing that kind of confused me, I didn't really care about. It was like a nitpick, I guess. But when they're trying to revive First Flash's superpowers, they do it like a Flashpoint where Batman puts him in a chair with other chemicals, and he gets struck by lightning and he tries to get his powers back. But then Kara-El just literally takes him and it lifts him up in the air in the clouds, and he gets zapped by lightning, and he's good. But the chemicals weren't with him. So like it was confusing me if it was like, are they doing it where the lightning gives him powers, or like
maybe the chemicals got into him enough the first time, and that he just needed a jump start the second time.
I think that's what it was.
I thought.
He needed a big electricity. I guess that makes sense.
They started with the chemicals the first try when he was in the chair. They had chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see him getting all veiny and shit.
Yeah. And I think that's what happened. It wasn't enough the first time because it was just the, conduit or whatever, and it came down and zapped him, and it was enough to like darn near basically kill him. But then when she took him up, that kicks, kick starts your heart or whatever. Yeah, as that kick started him.
The only thing I'm gonna say too is that I wish it was just more like they brought more characters from the Flashpoint. Like they got like Thomas Wayne instead of Bruce Wayne, and they got like the weak Superman. I thought that was pretty cool that Wonder Woman wasn't there and Aquaman wasn't born yet, and Superman was dead as a toddler. I thought that was a pretty good twist.
You get different things in different timelines.
Yeah, I was gonna say different timelines, different things, man. That's exactly what I was about to say. That's what makes it nice, is because it's not the same story in every single timeline.
Yep.
Although I am still upset that CW Flash wasn't in there. He should have made an appearance.
Yeah,
that would have been cool. That would have really been cool.
In the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Ezra Miller Flash appeared on CW Flash. Yep. So I don't know why he didn't appear in the movie.
Yeah,
it would have been cool, but who knows?
They had
yet to come
characters, long established TV series, and they don't use them in the movies, and that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Because I mean, look, they pick and choose who they do. Because John Smith, Martian Manhunter, series,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Fucking around. DC does some dumb shit, but the Flashpoint does give them the same freedom that they had when they did the same shit in Marvel. Now they can do a reset and play with anything they want. They've got carte blanche. They can go and change shit around, rerun characters, start from the beginning.
Mhm.
I mean, Percy Jackson even getting a new rewrite.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is gonna be dope.
Really? I didn't hear about it.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're gonna make a show.
yeah. Yeah, Tori's been talking about it like every day.
Percy Jackson.
Yeah, she's a book nerd, so I knew she'd know that.
Yeah, every day. But that's cool. It does give them freedom, but it exists in the. I mean, to be honest, like the George Clooney Batman movie was, that was the sequel to, like, you had, who was it before that, was Val Kilmer. Okay, so you had Michael Keaton in the first two, then Val Kilmer, and
Wasn't
then George
Val Kilmer
Clooney.
the goofy one?
No,
Yeah.
Val Kilmer. You had your
I thought
villains were.
Two-Face and Riddler and Mr.
Yeah.
Freeze, right?
That was
Oh,
Yeah,
so
the
you
goofy
thought the
one.
movie was goofy? You thought the movie was goofy? Is that what you meant?
Yeah, like Val
Oh,
Kilmer had that goofy.
I'm sorry. I thought you were. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Bruce Wayne, like that character. And I was like, no, he was super.
No.
He was stoic. He was very
No.
like, just, yeah. He was whatever. I love Val Kilmer, but I didn't know as Bruce Wayne. I'm like, I don't know.
It wasn't. He did better than George Clooney. Not saying George Clooney sucks. I'm not just saying. I just didn't like him as Batman.
That movie was garbage.
It was just cartoony, like the way that they did it. I shit you not. It was like somebody said, "Let's go neo-punk," and they tried to make shit in with some freaking, I mean, everything looked like it was hit up by highlighters and fucking blacklights.
Yeah. They started that in the Val Kilmer one, and I think that one was called Batman Forever, right? The one with Val Kilmer.
Yep.
That's when they started the neon nunchucks and all that stuff, and it was like the Michael Keaton ones. Those first two were dark. They were very, very dark. They matched the comics. They were awesome. And then they started getting all like you said, Batman. They were like neo-punk, and then that fourth one was just off the chain. Just
But then and then I think they repeated and went dark again with Christian Bale.
Yep.
Batman. They went
yeah,
dark.
they fixed that stuff. Actually, they fixed it because that is a dark comic. Batman is a dark comic. It always has been. And yeah, I know the old TV show, but you got to look at when that was made. In the original movie, it was light, it was funny, it was comical, but the comics are dark, especially like the ones that we grew up reading. They're very dark. So yeah, the Christian Bale movies, I think, fixed that. They really, really fixed it. And I know he gets a lot of crap, and I had to listen to it when I was watching Flash 2. So, and I'm sure you guys probably will say the same thing, but I did not mind Ben Affleck's version of Batman because he was dark and he didn't show mercy and he was different. Like, I didn't mind it. I know a lot of people hate him in that. They hated him in that role, and I'm like, I don't mind it. I didn't mind it.
Why did they hate him?
Yeah,
He's good.
I don't know. They didn't care for him in that role. They just thought he didn't fit.
What's his name? The new one. I can't remember. Patterson.
Oh, Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. It's like everybody looked at him kind of like they did the Ben Affleck. Like, oh, he's not good for this type of role. He's not going to be able to pull it off. Stuff like that.
Yeah, but then that movie came out and everyone was like, oh.
No, they didn't give him enough Bruce Wayne time for me to feel comfortable with what he's doing. He seemed a fucking hot mess in that.
Well, for me, isn't he still in the Arkham Origins? Like, he's still in the first 2 years of Batman?
Yeah.
That's why Gordon is still iffy with him?
Yeah. At least I think that's how that is in the whole timeline. That's the young Bruce Wayne, early Batman.
Yeah, he's still got all that rage and anger.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to pull off Batman, but pulling off Batman and Bruce Wayne and doing it right, that's where you'll get me to sign off on you. And,
yeah.
Whatever movie you're talking about when it comes to Batman, nobody's really freaking shit the bed as far as the role that they I may not have liked the director's vision, but as far as the actors, they all kind of hit the mark. Arnold was a little bit too much.
I'll freeze you.
But you know, I
No, freeze.
have been direction, and we all know that, you know, sometimes with him it's more of a name than the actual acting. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and again, you put the mask on, and most of the time it's somebody else in the suit anyhow, except when they have the speaking lines and stuff. But none of them really changed their voice, I don't think. Michael Keaton, I think maybe did in the original movies. I don't think Val Kilmer did, and I don't think George Clooney did. But like Christian Bale definitely changed his voice when he was Bruce Wayne, and then when he was Batman, he changed his voice, and it was like that more growling. And
Ben Affleck is my favorite, though. I don't know why, but it's so funny, especially when that Batman v Superman scene when he's just yelling at him. What Martha? What is your name? What is it?
the Martha thing. I looked at that really, but even though I like that movie, I'm like one of only like 5 people on the whole planet that like Batman versus Superman.
I loved it.
I thought that movie was great. I thought it was
never
great.
dogged that movie.
I mean,
Huh?
Superman literally dies. So
I've never dogged that movie. I like it.
Oh, yeah. I really, really like that. I've watched it multiple times. I just thought it was weird when he said, you're killing Martha," and he was like, "What?" And he stopped, and I was like, that just keep going, man. No, but again, it's just I like his version of Batman, and that's how he beats, he knows his mind. So in the comics, he knows everybody's weakness. He knows the weakness of the people that he works with too, because you never know.
Yep.
You never know.
But to
So
me, Robert Pattinson's
Protocol
Batman was at least had the darkest villain. Other than Heath Ledger Joker, I think the Riddler in Robert Pattinson's movie was the darkest villain for the Batman cinema.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's probably accurate.
He was, because you got to think about this. He was captured, right? And he's already like a sociopath. And then Batman's trying to figure out in his room, and he basically bombs all of Gotham. And he was doing live streaming. He was getting a gang already set up and everything. So he already had members with him too.
Yeah.
No
I gotta
remorse
go
for
with-
what he did at all.
Sorry.
That's tough. That's tough because their version, that version that like Heath Ledger's Joker was unreal. He was
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
unreal. He was like just this maniac on another level, and he was always on the edge, and it just, I don't know, not even yeah.
Was Jack Nicholson more unhinged than Heath Ledger?
No.
No?
Jack Nicholson,
No, he was cool. He was Jack Nicholson, but like it was different. It was
he was like
different.
a crime
Yeah,
boss.
listen, it's different.
It was like a crime boss. Yes.
Whereas
Okay.
Heath Ledger was straight just craze, right? All he wanted was the chaos. He lived for it, and that's what I loved about him. But if you got to pick the most horrific cunt in fucking DC's cinematic world, if you open it up to TV shows, I say the fucking little redheaded ginger fuck Joker from Gotham is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was
so-
sweet, man. He was sweet.
That Gotham,
Yeah,
I
he did a
never
lot of
watched
dope
much of Gotham. I only
Oh.
watched the beginning of it.
You gotta
There's
watch
no
too.
way.
Sorry.
There's no way.
Sorry. I couldn't really.
You watch Stranger Things, but you haven't watched Gotham?
Listen,
That's correct. That's
That's
correct.
crazy.
It's like this, bro. You sit there, you watch Smallville because it's Superman when he was younger. So
Mhm.
it's the same thing. You're watching Gotham because it's Batman when he was younger.
Yeah, and at the,
Yeah,
at the
yeah, but
Batman, Bruce Wayne finally becomes Batman.
yeah,
It's the
I
Gordon.
I thought it followed Gordon though. When I started watching it, I thought it more followed the young version of Commissioner Gordon.
Yes.
It kind of does. It kind of does, but halfway through the show, it starts going towards more Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
But-
Okay. Well then,
Like the development of Catwoman and freaking
Poison Ivy.
Penguin. Yeah, Poison Ivy. You got Bane
like
in there.
Riddler,
You got
frickin'
Joker. You got
starters.
Victor Zsasz.
Yeah, origin stories up the wazoo, dude.
Oh, for
Amazing.
real, it is.
I'll have to give it another chance then. Okay,
Oh,
I'll have to watch it.
Hugo Strange. Oh man, that guy was insane.
That Smallville was just like I can remember not even having interest in it, and as soon as I sat down and watched it, I couldn't stop watching it. It
Yeah,
just
did that to me.
yeah, it kept me watching over and over again, and I was all into it, and it just that's a sign of a good show. Like it just pulled me in, and even though I knew this, we know the story of Superman, that show was just that good. It pulled me in, so
Yeah.
I'll have
mean,
to give
still-
Gotham another chance.
I'll say still years later, you know, that anybody who hasn't watched it, it will pull them in. Because Lena never watched it. And
Oh
I
yeah,
was like, you have to watch it. So she sat down and watched a couple episodes, and she's like, we just kept going and going. So when we get to season 10, she's like, no, this can't be the end. Unfortunately, it is.
yep,
Smallville.
Shit.
yeah, dude. Tori has watched that entire series, I think, twice, from season 1 all the way to season 10. Just
3 times.
Yeah.
Three times.
three times. Yeah, she's
Hold
watched
on,
it all the way
wait.
through.
Wait, Dad, you're telling me out of 18 years of my existence, I was 19 now, you've only watched that 3 times, and you have the whole collection just sitting downstairs in DVDs of all the seasons?
Well, you know, there's things of you know, your uncle that just I lent them out and he never gave them back.
That's
So I'm
evil.
missing quite a few.
That's evil.
I'm
That's
missing
like giving out friends DVDs and you don't get them back either.
I tell you
That's not as
what,
bad as that.
I tell you what, it's not this uncle.
no.
I can tell you that right now.
Oh,
'Cause
really?
I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. That's
crazy.
wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm probably never gonna see him again, so I just wanted to go. I'm gonna go get him just to rebuild my collection.
But for Gotham, I would say Selena Kyle, for me, took the longest for me to actually start liking her. It took the longest for me to accept that she's Catwoman. I don't know why. It took me like 6 seasons.
Oh wow. Yeah. What does that come on? Is it on or Max? It's called now.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, Netflix has it. Okay.
Yeah, it might be on Max since it's DC. So yeah.
Yeah, because they have almost everything DC. So I'll have to give that show another chance and check it out.
I mean,
What, Gotham?
1992
Yeah,
Batman.
Gotham.
Yeah, it's
That's
not,
what I got on right
Yeah,
now.
you know what you should be playing right now too, though. Probably Batman Beyond.
oh, I
That-
love that shit. That is slick as fuck.
That is. I
I
remember
like.
playing the 64 game.
See, I personally like the 1992 version better than Batman Beyond.
Well, I'd watch them both, but the Batman Beyond and letting him like take the realm and actually have a fucking heart because he can't do a lot of shit that he used to. And it's cool to see somebody like very young and new to it and like kind of get more heart than what the previous Robins, wards of him have received.
Yeah, and then you actually get to see like what happened to the villains too, which is pretty
Yeah.
dope.
as they developed over time and aged and shit, you know?
Mhm.
Oh.
Don't-
Nice.
You can't, you have to get the 82 and the other shit in there, but it's definitely, you can't overlook the.
Oh, for real? I think so. Have you seen that?
When I get done watching these couple seasons, I'll go to the Batman Beyond and I'll watch it again.
It's so good.
Oh,
So the Batman Beyond is animated?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
that came out. Was it the 90s? It came out.
Yeah.
This one was from 92 to 95, I believe.
So that's
Yeah.
the one. Okay, so you're watching. That's the OG one that I remember that I watched like crazy.
Yes.
Okay, and I started watching it again when I got HBO Max because I love that series.
Man, what
Yeah.
was that? What was that Justice League show? That was like super old school.
Young
Okay.
Justice.
No. It was like an old school Justice League. It was like Scooby Doo type old.
Scooby Doo type.
Yeah, where, like,
yeah,
they had, like,
sev-
wacky Looney Tunes
70s,
sound
80s.
effects. Yeah.
Justice League, there was Super Friends, but Super Friends was
I-
Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't think of an old Justice League show. The only one I animated show.
Old school one from the early '80s with the like they had the freaking swamp with the Legion of Doom and all that. Everything in like the week, or within the episode. Gorilla Grodd and Luke.
Yeah, no, it was it was Super Friends for DC. It came out 1973 to 1985.
Yep.
Super Friends. Okay.
Super
Okay.
Friends. I remember that one. I remember watching Scooby Doo and Super Friends.
Wow. Okay. Vaguely. Vaguely. I'll have to look back and watch that
I
one
only
again.
remember the Dark Side episode.
I'm about to find it.
You're gonna find it.
Yeah. Because now that's going to drive me crazy.
Oh my gosh. And,
Hey,
oh,
have you,
sorry.
You know, actually, since we're talking about it, I'm just putting the flash on. I mean, it's,
Okay. I was gonna ask too, what did everybody think? Like, did anybody else? I don't know if you've seen the pictures from the Superman movie that was in production but never happened. But in the Flash, when I was watching it and I saw that suit, it was a particular suit, and I saw the longer hair. I was like, and I said out loud, that looks like the Nicolas Cage one that never happened. And then when it showed his face, I was like, get out of here. It just was like, I can't believe they had that in there. And
so,
yeah, that was
who
sweet.
would you like to be, like, instead of Zod? Who would you like the villain be instead? Because I was dreaming for Reverse Flash as a post credit or something. Like,
In
to be like
that
an old
movie-
Barry, like an old version of a Barry that's supposed to be dead was alive, and he wanted revenge for the Barry going back and messing up his timeline.
Well, you sort of got that. The one that was trapped because he was
Mhm.
going
That
to kill.
To me,
But-
that was either from the comics, that was like the death, like the Black Reverse Flash, or that was just Savitar type thing, like a future version of Barry.
Savitar. That would make more sense in the series where Savitar was the one who, which that actually wasn't. But you know what? The series has done that so much where you had a speedster that was the villain. You know what I mean?
One come from another
when they
Earth,
did-
one come
when-
from the future in some years. It was crazy.
Yeah. So when they did the movie, I thought it was cool that it was Zod, and I thought it was awesome that it was the people who came back to reprise those roles.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
that was really neat.
So
I thought that
happy.
was cool.
I
and
don't know
then-
the actor's name for Zod, but he does a great job.
Yeah, I just was like, wow, you're kidding me. And just there's nothing really about that movie that I disliked. And just the way that they showed when the different, multiverses were kind of getting really close together and they were able to see the other ones. And it showed that silhouette of Superman, and that was Christopher Reeves. I thought, wow. Oh
Now,
my God.
One thing,
That right
one thing
there.
what I thought would be cool too is that you remember from Man of Steel when Superman opens Zod's helmet and Zod starts going through like the motions of like super hearing and like night vision or like X-ray vision, and Superman's like, "This is what I'm gonna go through," whatever.
Yeah.
I wish they would have like done that for like Kara. Like they would have like flashback to when she first came to Earth and she had to deal with that, and then she did that to Zod, and then he started going through that.
Yep.
She said the same thing too. Like, this is what I have to go through, and then she started pounding him.
Yep. And I thought too, it was cool because she had her moments and everything, but she had just woke up, and
Yeah.
my guy has been training for freaking war for
But
his entire life.
I did like the scene because I know from the comics all the time that Kara was supposed to protect. What's the Superman? I forgot his. Kal-El.
Yeah,
She's supposed to
Kal-El.
protect him. And then when Zod tells her that he's been dead since Tyler, she freaks out. I like that.
Oh yeah,
They still kept that in there.
yeah. I thought that was really cool, and she flipped out and lost it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, there isn't really anything about that movie I disliked. I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It had a lot of fan service in it with all the things they did. And I don't care that it was CGI'd when they were, showing all the different multiverses and stuff.
Was why did they? Oh, for the post credit scene, why was it Aquaman and Flash? Because like I was thinking about, does that mean Flash is going to be the new Aquaman movie? because it makes no sense why they would be together. And
It was
like
funny.
Flash is trying to be cool with.
I don't
It
think
was-
he was Aquaman in that.
He said he said everybody's well, I don't know. He fell face down in the water in that puddle, and
Yeah.
he was fine. Because I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, he's not Aquaman. But he's still drunk and he likes to drink and whatever. And when he fell face down in that puddle and just laid there and was like, I don't know. And I thought, wow, maybe he is Aquaman. He's just
Yeah, but you don't know if Barry didn't pick his head up.
he picked his own head up. Because I thought he picked
Yeah,
his head
but-
up and looked and said, hey, blah, 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 or whatever. Like,
Same thing.
Yeah,
that,
but when he
'cause I was
when he
wondering
put
if
it
he
back
had his
down,
powers or not. But when his head sat in a puddle for a little bit, like, okay, obviously he can talk in water, so he's fine.
I thought it was funny. I just thought it was neat because you didn't see him, like you saw Batman, you know what I mean? You got to see other people from the Justice League, but I thought it was cool that he was in the end credit scene. That to me, it's
So-
one of those things like it didn't have to make sense because, whatever.
Well, and again,
I'm still impatient though because we've had about what is it? We've had
Well,
two Superman
hold
movies.
Hold on there, hero, because Fat Man was about to talk.
Oh my bad.
no, I'm just saying, not our timeline. You got to remember, anything that's going on Flash now is not the one that we originated with. So,
Mhm.
are they going to peel him back in some other way, or are they going to just negate that fact and then try to do whatever with,
Oh yeah, because it's like small details that are messed up. That's right.
Yeah. like with Aquaman and everything else, because they're building up for a big dog movie. They've got the freaking Black Adam, and then melding with Shazam, and then they got freaking Justice League melding with Shazam, and now Aquaman's coming back out. Flashpoint opened it up to where they can bring it.
Yeah, but my thing is that I'm still waiting. We've had at least like two Superman movies. We had two Wonder Woman movies. We have a Justice League movie, but there is no sign. Only in the Justice League movie Snyder Cut, there's only been a sign of a Green Lantern, and that's it.
There's a reason for that.
Shit for the freaking Green Lantern movie, but I love that movie, and fuck anybody that doesn't.
I don't
Hey,
understand why people don't
how'd you
like
guys
it.
There's a lot of people that hate that movie, and I've only got
Why?
to watch a little bit of
How
it.
would you guys feel if they made a new Green Lantern movie and it came out that Ryan Reynolds was doing it again?
I would fuck
Why is that a problem?
it. I don't
I
It's-
don't
it's-
get it.
No, it's
I
just
think
because
people just dogged on it because they felt like it should have portrayed I guess a better story. I thought the story fit pretty well, but I don't know. There was just a lot of complaints, not necessarily Ryan Reynolds playing the part, just the movie
no, he did a good job.
didn't live up to the hype.
But do you remember that scene from Deadpool 2 when he goes back in time and he shoots himself in the head as
For
he
me.
finishes the script for it?
stand it up.
Yeah.
Or how about the first Deadpool where he's like, where he says just
Green or anime.
yeah.
Put him in a green suit again.
There's nothing green
or animated.
or animated, and I
Yeah.
think that's what it was. He in like a a tongue-in-cheek kind of way said what the biggest complaint was people had with that movie. It was the animation and it was the special effects they just thought looked horrible. It just looked horrible. Like in some of the special effects look like in Multiverse of Madness. If you compare that to the other stuff, you're like, man, some of this stuff looks cheesy. Like they just don't have the budget, But then you watch like
Yeah, but
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and you're like, this is
Pause on
what
that for a
the
second.
CGI is supposed to look like.
I
Hold
thought Multiverse of Madness was great for their CGI.
Fat
It-
man's trying to talk.
What's that?
I work in IT, and I'm just telling you that that's a long time period between those two movies. That's a lot of upgrades that occurred in those years, So it's a hard thing to compare those two movies.
Yeah, but I thought
That movie was killer.
Which movies are you referring to?
Green Lantern. You're comparing it to something that was made years later, and they had plenty of shit to upgrade the CGI shit. I don't.
No. What I was saying was people will complain about that stuff, just like they complained about the special effects in the Multiverse of Madness because they were comparing it to the movies that came out in the MCU previous. Just like you had the prequels to the Lord of the Rings. Okay, you had the Lord of the Rings where they did a lot of things. A lot of the sets were real sets. Okay. And they had people sit there and just go through hours and hours of makeup. And then you had the prequels come out, the Hobbit movies, where there was a lot of CGI and people were like, they were kind of turned off by that. So that's what I meant by that. Some people don't like to see it.
Hold on. One thing I want to say too is that Green Lantern came out in 2011, and you have Paul, like the Alien movie, that also came out in 2011. And so that CGI in that movie I thought was amazing.
Which movie?
Paul.
It's all budget, man. That could just be a budget issue.
And it's budget.
I mean, it can be, but at the same time, it could be like just the workers too, because there's low budget movies, and they like special effects, like low budget movie special effects. For some reason, to me, in like horror movies, they're way better than higher budget ones. Like way better.
All right. Tell me, what would you have changed about Green Lantern? If you had a choice, what would you have changed?
Who are you asking?
Any one of you.
No, like I said, I actually am one of the ones who liked the movie.
Me too.
I would change it by giving it a second movie and having Sinestro be the main villain.
Boom. I don't think that they gave the Corps enough battle time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What Deadpool killed it is because Deadpool does this thing where it bounces back and forth and gives you action every few minutes. Even though they hit you with some hard stuff, they keep you fucking lit up with comedy, and they fucking keep the action intertwined where it's not too much. We all know they're going to become heroes. We're waiting for that moment. Give us the fucking moment. And what's he fighting? Oh, he's not fighting something that you would historically think he'd have even a chance. He had to fucking use a sun to whoop his ass. Needs to have a more tangible villain, faster, and a fight. A lot of fighting, use of the powers, because that's what we want to see.
Yep.
Yeah, and you have Sinestro, who was originally a master of the might of the will, is now turned to the evil side of using fear. And so I feel that he'd be super dope.
You guys watch all the cartoons? The Green Lantern cartoons on Max?
I'm gonna start watching them.
No.
I haven't.
Oh my god, they get into the core and all the different ring colors and shit.
Oh, nice.
My favorite's the white one.
Black, but almost all the other ones. Orange, red, pink.
Red's also pretty dope.
Blue.
Oh, you're different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All those things. See, everything I know about Green Lantern was from reading the comics. I didn't watch. Yeah, I didn't watch, but like a couple minutes of that Ryan Reynolds movie because it just came on TV, and I saw it when it was like almost over. So I've never actually sat and watched all of that. Everything I know about him is from the comics.
It's on Max.
Yeah, I'll have to sit down and watch it. It's one of those things I just was like, nah, I don't know if I'm going to watch it. Just like the Lord of the Rings TV series. Why would I watch that when I've read all the books? I've read all the books.
Oh, it is so good. It's so worth watching.
Yeah, but to me, in my mind, it'll never be as good as the books.
You can't do that. Okay, let me tell you what. You can, but it makes you a bitchy ass snob because that's not the book. It's somebody else's a rendition of that. It's like saying, you know what?
But why would I do that then? Why would I want to watch something when I love the novel? I love the story.
Listen,
and intentionally watch something where they change it and they screw it up.
What about the It series? What about the It series? What about American Psycho?
You're doing it every day. You watch a comic book movie every fucking day.
It's rolling the dice.
Have you not watched the Stephen King movie?
That doesn't mean I've read all the books, though. That doesn't mean I've read, and I'll tell you this too. And I'll tell you this: when I have read the book is usually better because as great as the Shawshank
movie.
Yeah, the Shawshank Redemption is fantastic. That's a great film. The book was better. So I mean, I can go through, and they did a miniseries on like Desperation and all those things. Those books that I read, And even though like the little TV miniseries wasn't bad, the book was better. You had Regulators and Desperation. So for his movies that were based on books, if I didn't read the books, then of course I love the movies.
Dude, you're gonna make me do this again because we had the same conversation except for with Tony on the first one that didn't get recorded. You know, the fucking
Oh yeah.
or whatever. You're not gonna be able to fit a fucking book with
Hold
all
on, hold on, wait. Before
hold
this
on,
gets
let him finish.
unraveled,
It's just never gonna happen. And
I know. I know.
Somebody will sit through and not leave during the middle of the theater. You know what I mean?
listen, before this gets unraveled, I gotta go. All right, guys.
All right.
I'm gonna go before
What?
it gets too crazy.
What?
No, he's got to get back.
All right.
I gotta do some stuff.
All right. Love
And
you.
brother.
All
All
right.
right, I love you guys. Y'all be
Love
safe.
you.
All right, love you. Bye.
Okay. Your point though is I get that, for instance, like the Fellowship of the Ring, that book, if they would have taken that book,
Oh,
the
okay.
first book, and
Just-
tried to put all that crap in the movie, it would have been boring because there's a lot of dry stuff in that book. They took and put, yes, they skipped some things that I point out when I watch the movie, like, oh man, like they didn't have that in there, but it was fine because it was minor and the movie was amazing. And then the movies after that were amazing. So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
You want me? I'm about to blow your guys' mind. I have not read The Lord of the Rings or watched the movies.
Any of them?
And
What?
Don't be that guy, man. Don't be that guy.
What?
Do you?
no, I guess I never got around to watching them and stuff. I've heard good things about them. I just never watched
They're
them.
epic.
Uh,
They're epic, man.
director's cut. It's going to be long, but dude, it is totally fucking worth it. And you get to watch them like most people don't get to, which is you get to watch The Hobbit first, and then go through and do The Lord of the Rings, which you really, really, really should do.
I should.
Yeah, and I did it. It was backwards.
Okay, and Georgie, I got to ask you, dude, have you ever considered how many songs and just renditions of things that you've gotten like a different version of? You know what I mean? There's rarely a song there today that isn't a remake of somebody else's riff, beat, or whatever the hell may be. Why cut it off because of one particular show that you loved the original book? And may I ask, because when I got started on it in school, it started with The Hobbit, which was, Bilbo Baggins at the get. When you're talking about not watching the series, what's the startup of the timeline that you were involved in with your reading?
I wasn't referring to are you talking about Lord of the Rings, or are you talking about like Game of Thrones?
Oh, either one, dude.
Okay.
One.
Okay. So the Game of Thrones, like this, what is it? The Song of Ice and Fire, I think, is technically the title of that series. Am I right, Darkwing?
Yeah.
I think it's the song. I started with the books way like years before the TV show even began. So I had interest. I had interest, but I had to get kind of spoiled for me by some people who were telling me things that happened to characters, and I'm like, well, that didn't happen to that character in the book, and so I let that get to me, and I let that influence me.
Okay.
Yeah.
The same thing for the token stuff.
That was actually different. I remember I had zero interest in it until I was visiting Jacksonville, Florida. I was visiting Derek when he was stationed there in the Navy, and he forced me to go watch The Fellowship of the Ring in the theater. And I ho hum, I was like, okay, I'll go along, and I loved it. Then I read the books. So it was after I saw that movie, I was like, this is freaking amazing. And then I read the books, and then I watched, The Two Towers and The Return of the King, but I'd read the books and I could deal with it. So for me, it was kind of weird with that one.
Yeah,
But
that's kind of similar with
the TV series now.
I never. Yeah, I've never watched the series yet. The TV series you're talking about.
Yeah.
oh,
So,
geez.
yep. But
Yeah.
what the Hobbit? Did you watch those movies?
Yes, and I didn't hate him. I. It's hard not to compare it to the other ones, and that's what I was doing. I was comparing it to the original movies. I liked the fact that they had live actors with the makeup and all that stuff on. And then here they had like some, they were like CGI and things like that. I didn't dislike the movie though. Obviously you have a dragon. You can't have somebody play the part of a dragon. You know what I mean? But I didn't dislike the movies. I just, and that's the thing too. I'm only basing what I know of off the movies, because when you read, it touches on things that happen to Bilbo. When you read like the Fellowship of the Ring, when you read the books, it touches on things that happen with him, but not like the Hobbit, the actual book, The Hobbit, right? I think that's just one book.
Yep.
And I never read that book. So I watched the movies without ever having read the book.
Okay, so then you don't even know about any book for the prequel too, which is what they're doing now.
No. Nope.
And yeah,
Nope.
have no interest in it?
I wouldn't say I have no interest in it. I guess I don't know. I think it comes on something I don't have anyway. Isn't it, I don't want to say was it Prime? Like it comes on Prime or something like that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I got you covered.
Yeah, I think it comes on but again, it's one of those things like, yeah, I'm kind of interested in it because I love the backstory. I love everything. I was so into, I can't tell you how many times. And you brought up the extended cut too, like the director's cut. Have the director's cut of those movies. It was amazing. I could pick out the stuff that wasn't in the theater, and it kind of filled in some blanks. And it's just amazing. I've watched the crap out of those, like countless times. It's amazing the disc even still work.
Yeah,
I
like
Did
the,
they have Did
Zack
they have
Snyder.
Tom Bombadil in the director's cut?
Who?
Tom Bombadil, the guy that saves him from the tree that's gonna eat him. That's from the Fellowship of the Ring book.
No. Who got saved from the tree?
The hobbits that set out to bring the ring to Gandalf.
No, they had a judgment. It was actually Gandalf introduced them to one tree, and then they went to go. Oh no, wait, sorry, that didn't happen. They decided that they weren't orcs through a council. There was no other being that came in and assisted, I don't believe, in the director's cut.
Mm.
Yeah, I gotta watch those.
No, I'm trying to remember the part that you're referring to.
When
Are you talking about when they're in the forest?
yeah, and
When they catch them in the forest? Oh, yeah. That
it was the first action after leaving the Shire with the race following them. They met some guy named Tom Bombadil, and he told them a song, and he was like, if you ever need help, just sing this song and I'll show up. And then they lay down by a tree and they couldn't stay awake and passed out, and that was like the tree's process of eating them. And then they sang Tom Bombadil's song and he came and saved them.
Oh, no. In the movie, the trees, what was it? No, Fat Man's right. In the movie, in the director's cut, I think the trees captured them because they were laying down or they were eating stuff, whatever, like that, because they eat. They're hobbits. And they captured them and they brought them to the wizard. And you're thinking, oh, they're taking them to, what's his name?
Saruman.
Saruman. But it was actually Gandalf, because at that point in time, Gandalf wasn't gray anymore. He was white. So when they dropped him at the feet, you're thinking they're dead. But no, they brought him to him, and then they were fine. So that's how it happened in the movie. They didn't sing a song. They snatched him up. They were going to be done, but they brought him to the wizard.
All right. Well, before we go any further, we'll save this for another discussion because we're running out of time. And I was going to ask you guys. So, do you agree or think that we possibly need another Green Lantern movie to kind of bring the character in before we have that Justice League with Darkseid?
Yeah, that would definitely help. Another thing they could do is what they've done in some Marvel stuff, which is introduce it through that and then do an origin story after they've introduced it and, you know, got people gigging on the original hookup, because cancel fucking culture screwed shit up, dude. So that's why Sonic had to go back for dental work.
Yeah.
And, you know, other crap like that. If they do it freaking Justice League build up, they can feel it out there and nobody will bitch too much about it because it's just a side character. But
it's a genius idea, and I agree, because, like, for instance, how many you had the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies? People loved them. Andrew Garfield had 2, and people loved them. So then they were smart, because instead of just giving, oh gosh, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Tom
Holland.
Thank you, Tom Holland. Instead of giving him his own film, they introduced him in Civil War, where people kind of warmed up to the character, to the kid, and all that stuff. And then, you know, if I remember right, he showed up in Civil War first, before you had Homecoming, and that was genius. So I think that's a genius idea, Fat Man. They introduced Green Lantern in a movie first, like it like as a side character or whatever, and then you go from there. I've been screaming for, when I watched, and we've talked about this before, I was screaming for him to show up on Arrow, this series, and they always teased it, but he never showed up. And in the comics, you had those 3. You had Barry Allen, you know, you had Flash, you had Green Lantern, and you had Green Arrow. And it was like, I just was screaming for that to happen, and they teased it, but it never happened. So it would be so cool if they actually did something like that.
Yeah. And like Fat Man said, you know, like, I mean, look at we had Avengers, and then you seen like Thor having his movies. And what we had Iron Man first.
They had their movies first, though. They had their movies first.
Iron Man 1 and 2, and then Avengers came after that.
No, because Iron Man 2 led into Thor. Because at the end, that's where Coulson, at the end credit scene, Coulson found the hammer, Mjolnir.
The Avengers was after that.
Yeah, so no, you had Thor had his own movie before Avengers.
That's what Rico's saying. Yeah.
Oh, is that what you were saying? I thought you were saying his movie was after Avengers.
No, I was wrong. I thought it was after the Avenger. I thought he showed up in the Avengers, the first Avengers, and then he had his own.
Yeah,
that was my bad.
Yeah, they introduced them all first, and then
they had Avengers. Then the Avengers, right?
Yeah, Captain America, the first Avenger, would have been the last movie before Avengers, because your end credit scene.
Yeah, so the only one that didn't carry on was the Incredible Hulk, where they took Edward Norton out and went with whatchamacallit?
Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which that was, I don't know what politics caused that. I like that Edward Norton movie way better than Eric Bana. And I love Eric Bana, and I love the cast they had in that movie. Dude, that movie was just...
That was not okay.
Yeah, that movie was just like, really? Really?
They on that.
Yeah, they did. I was so disappointed. I sat in the theater. I was so pumped. And I'm like, the heck is this, man? And then they did it right with the Edward Norton one. I love that movie.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Then they bring freaking, whatchamacallit? Freaking Abomination. They bring him into She-Hulk from the Edward Norton one.
Yes. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah. And speaking of She-Hulk, and I don't know if we talked about this before, who who enjoyed that series? Who liked that series?
I thought it was playful and goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really watched all of it. I literally only watched maybe 3 or 4 episodes. I got to finish it.
Yeah. What about you, Darkwing?
I didn't even start it.
Oh, that was because I read a little of her comics, and so when that series came on, I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. And some people were crapping on it, and I watched it, and I loved it. I watched it and was hooked, and watched it all the way through. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
You guys watched the Hulk Agents of Smash?
No, that one I haven't watched yet.
Yeah, it's a series. You guys got to watch it because it introduces a couple different Hulk characters that they might be bringing up, like Scab and A-Bomb, She-Hulk, Red Hulk. They have some other ones too.
Yeah, see, I've been meaning to watch that because I want to get up to speed on those other ones. I really, really do. Yeah, the last animated one that I watched, but again, they put a lot of work in. They're fantastic. The What If series was amazing.
Dude.
Yeah,
In
I
the
like
comic books?
Well, they took it from the comics, but they made it a series on
They
Disney
did?
Plus. It was amazing.
It's good, man.
Oh, it goes all the way up to the Watcher and beyond, dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was fantastic. I loved it.
That
And they're
doc-
supposed to be doing another one, so
Well, fellas, it's actually been over an hour now. I love the talks. We need to do this more often, man. And
for sure. Sorry, I was late.
I know on my behalf, man, it's kind of hard because it started doing a lot of the wrestling podcast on Monday and Tuesdays. So Sundays is like just been like family day.
It's your fault, Reek.
It is. I take the blame.
Granted, I've been on some of those wrestling podcasts with you, so I can't talk.
Yeah. But man, let's go. I'll message you guys when we try to do this again. That way we have like a week's heads up notice.
Nice.
Just this week worked out perfect because I'm not doing any wrestling podcasts. I talked to Scott about it, let him know because tomorrow Lena gets back from Michigan, and then Tuesday her gallbladder surgery, so I'll be busy all week.
Okay. I didn't know she was in the state, man.
Yeah, they did the motorcycle ride for Adam.
Oh shoot. I didn't even know that she was in for that.
Yeah, I wish I could have been a part of that, but I had to stay here.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, she posted on Facebook stuff so everybody could see it.
Oh,
I saw
social
it.
media. I'm way behind on social media, man.
I don't
I
get
have
on
like
this one.
100. I have 100 something notifications.
Yeah, mine said 99 plus. I was like, oh boy.
I'm way behind.
Never text me.
Yeah,
something you
I
need
know, fat man.
Facebook.
I know. Your little circle next to the person, if they're actually on or not, his is never green. He's never on there.
My account doesn't even exist anymore. They won't give me the password for it. They won't reset it, and so it's just stuck.
That's how. Wow, that's bad. That's how long it's sat inactive. They're like, dude, this guy. Wow.
Yeah, they won't
Getting
or anything, dude. Nothing.
but man, I'll let you guys know when we can do this again.
All righty, Spidey.
You guys take it easy. Have a good time.
All right, you too.
Darkwing, I'll probably holler at you in the morning, man.
Sounds good, man.
Oh, there's gonna be tongue mouth action there.
That's right. He knows what it's about.
Oh,
I'll
good
talk to
Lord. Yeah.